Hey there, welcome back. It has been quite a while since I last talked about game development, or even worked on game development things. You see, I've been back at school, working on my bachelor degrees in mathematics and computer science. This last semester, actually, I wound up completing my senior math capstone course, where we get to pick a topic, investigate it, and then do a 25-minute presentation with a 5-minute Q&A. I wound up choosing the interaction between splines and the Catmull-Clark subdivision algorithm for 3D modeling. Now, the usual math presentation, they're either going to be in PowerPoint, Google Slides, or Beamer. Beamer is the one where you write everything in LaTeX, a language for rendering out math. Now, design-wise, they're pretty dull. Customization is very limited, and there's no interactivity. Now, my presentation, it starts out in 2D with the default Beamer appearance. I go into the history of the algorithm and some quirks, but to explain things, I've got to introduce splines. So I show some examples, but then I start interacting with the control points, and this is when I start getting the reaction I wanted. Surprise, but also confusion, because they don't know that this presentation is actually all running inside of Unity. You know, what's better than splines in 2D? Splines in 3D. And without pausing, the presentation just keeps on going and going. And you know what? I had a lot of fun with it. I even got told by one of my peers that it was the funnest math presentation they've ever been to. Take that for what you will. Now, I could go on and on about how splines and the subdivision algorithm are related to each other, but honestly that warrants its own video. Anyways, after that presentation, I realized that the one thing I missed most was telling a story. With my time back at school, I've made a lot of visualizations that tell stories. Some on nuclear history, some on mosquito competition, a lot of plots on mosquito competition, some of them on heat diffusion. I even made one on using complex numbers to approximate shapes from a list of points. But it never quite felt the same way that game development does to me. Luckily, I've still got my computer science capstone, and it's structured differently than on the math side. For this one, I get 2 semesters. That's about 10 months to work on a project of my choosing. For the first semester, the end goal is to have a minimum viable product ready, and then giving a loose presentation on it. And then the second semester is spent on polishing, getting ready for your final presentation, and then doing a technical report. At least, that's as far as I know. Now, I've got an idea for a project, and to play to my strengths, I see it as an amalgamation of ideas I've had in the past, but I didn't quite have the technical prowess to properly see those things through to the end. But this time, it feels different. It feels doable. Looking back at my previous projects, I feel that my mental health played a huge part in things not working out. I would find myself getting fixated on little details, so much that it consumes all my time, even in general. After coming out of that, it's strange to say, but it feels like I've got more time in the day to use. It's a beautiful feeling that's hard to explain, but equally terrifying. I feel pretty confident with seeing through a project now to properly break it down and organize my time with it. And most importantly, being able to put it down for the day, physically and mentally, and just enjoying the rest of my day. Unless it's the end of the semester and finals kick in, then forget all that for a while. Anyways, this summer I'll be exploring some of these systems and mechanics for my capstone. These are either generic enough that I know will be in the game anyways, or just topics I'm interested in and want to look a little further into. If I run into pitfalls, I can always do a full rewrite later on when real development starts up in August. I'm looking forward to this summer of pre-development, and I hope that the topics I look into are interesting enough to stay tuned. I'll be dropping the first of these videos tomorrow, so with that, I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!